Hi everyone, Neil Malik from Knack Training bringing you another Everyday Office video. Today's video is about a technique that I stole from Gmail to use in Outlook and then I improved upon it. So those of you who use Gmail know that after you hit send in Gmail, you can undo that send for a short period of time. And technically, if you go into your sent items in Microsoft Outlook and you open up any email in Outlook and then go to your actions drop-down menu over here, technically there's an item here that says recall this message. But the problem with recall this message in Outlook is that item number one, it's trying to pull this message back from other people's servers, and that's just not going to work most of the time. Item number two, of course, in today's day and age, almost everybody's reading their emails, within seconds of when they receive it. And item number three is that no matter whether the recall works or not, the person who is getting that email pulled back from them, they see an email message that says, Neil would like to recall this message. And so they'll go back to that email and go, I wonder what it was about that email that they want to recall. So generally speaking, in my mind, recall this message on Outlook is useless. It's completely useless. However, in Gmail, what they have done is not made a better version of recall this message. All they do is they put a delay on the send. When you hit send, Gmail's not sending that email right away. So you could very easily do that in Outlook using a rule. Watch this. If I go to Rules up here at the top of the screen and go to Manage Rules and Alerts on that little drop-down menu, and then in this dialog box right here, I click on New Rule. Instead of, on messages I receive, if you don't use rules on messages you receive in Outlook, you absolutely should do that right now because this just is an automatic handling for all your incoming emails. But right down here below it is one that almost nobody uses, which is, okay, as I'm sending emails out, I would like to apply rules to those emails. Because most people think to themselves, well, what am I going to do other than send the email? Well, here's one of the things that you can do. You go to Apply Rule on Messages I Send, hit Next, and then right here, first of all, it says, do you have any conditions of why you would do this? Now, we're going to delay the sending of an email, and there might be certain conditions where that should happen versus when it shouldn't happen. You can definitely try that out. But my assumption here is that I want to be able to undo the send on any email across the board. So I'm not going to set any conditions at all. I'm just going to delay the send of every single email. So I hit Next, and it says, are you sure you want to apply this to literally everything? I click Yes. And then right here, there's a checkbox on the next step where it says Select Actions. You can defer the delivery by a certain number of minutes. So I just click right down here where it says a number of, maybe I put in 5, right? 5, 10 minutes. The idea here is that an extra 5 minutes in sending the email out won't matter. Or an extra 10 minutes won't matter. It's up to you what that number is, but then ultimately you'll be able to go back and within 5 minutes and say, oh, you know what? I actually didn't mean to send that. So I hit OK. Then I click Next, and right here it says, are there any exceptions? We're going to leave this alone for the moment, and then hit Next. And I'm just going to do 5-minute delay as the name of this rule, and turn the rule on. Then when I click Finish, it says, this is only going to happen when you're using Outlook. Click OK. Click OK. And now watch as I send out a new email. I send a new email using the new email button up in the corner there. I'm going to send an email to Jacqueline and to June. And this is going to be something like, I think everything is awful. Why are you trying to destroy me? Okay, so, I was having a very bad day. I decided to write, why are you trying to destroy me, into an email, and then I hit send. And then a couple of seconds later, I realized that was a terrible mistake, and Jacqueline and June are going to respond very negatively to that email. Here's the cool thing. When I go look at my outbox over here on the left, you can see there's a little number 1 next to it. I click on that and you can see the email that says, "Why are you trying to destroy me?" is sitting right there, available for me to do whatever I want. It's going to sit there for the next 5 minutes. There is nothing you can do to kickstart this, but I can double click on it, edit this. If I think editing is a good idea, I can edit this. Or, more than likely, I probably just go to this thing and hit the delete key on the keyboard, and it's like nothing ever happened. So just putting in that defer delivery, that delay delivery rule can be really nice. Now, a couple of things that you might want to do. First of all, you might only want to implement that rule for, clients and not for internal emails, because you're not sure about sending particular pieces of information to your clients. So when you go to your rules, to manage rules and alerts, you can hit that rule right there. Choose the change rule drop-down menu here, edit the settings, and what you can do is you can actually set up some conditions like, are these people on this list, right? So if it is sent to people or public group right there, and you can assign different email addresses. But here's another thing that you can do that I find really useful. So if you go to the File tab in the top left-hand corner, go down to Options, and you click on your Mail options over here on the left, you can get access to your signatures in Outlook. And if you click on Signatures, most people will create a signature. Let's go ahead and put in a new signature called Standard, and it will say, "Regards, Neil Malik." And then I'll save it. And then I can assign that to emails, new emails, but also assign it to replies. And click OK. And most people go about that far with their signatures. Make a signature, apply it to emails. But here's a little trick I want you to try out. I'm going to go to Signatures. I'm going to make a new signature. The signature will be immediate send, and hit OK. And I'll put in my same regards, Neil Malik. And maybe I go down like 7 or 8 lines, and this can be just about anything under the sun. But let's say I put in /# something along those lines. Something that doesn't actually mean anything, and most people will ignore this altogether. Maybe they'll look at it and go, huh, that's weird. Maybe their email system added this, that sort of thing. It really won't faze them. I'm going to hit save here. You see, I'm not applying the immediate send signature to any new email messages nor to any replies. It's here as a tool. So I hit OK, and I hit OK. And now what I'm going to do is go back to my rules. So back to rules at the top of the screen to manage rules and alerts. And in here, I'm going to, again, choose that delay rule, change the rule, edit the rule settings. And then not in the conditions. Next. Yes. Not in the actions. Next. But in the exceptions. So why would I do an exception? Well, if I don't want it to defer delivery by 5 minutes. So I'll say right in here, except if the body contains specific words. And for specific words, you know what I'm going to do here. /# and click add. Now, there's almost no reason why I would ever have /# in an email. And you can make up whatever code you want, doesn't matter. Just make sure it's something that just would never happen. Hit OK. So now it's going to defer delivery by 5 minutes, except if it finds /#. So I click next and finish and OK and OK. And let's just see these side by side. New email message to Jacqueline. This should be delayed. And I hit send. Now, based off what you just saw me do, I should be able to go to my outbox. This email to Jacqueline that says this should be delayed, it in fact is delayed. but I'm going to write a new email. I'm going to write it to Eric, and I'm going to say, immediate information. So I really want this to go out immediately. All I've got to do to guarantee that that happens is right-click on my signature. When I right-click on my signature, I switch over to immediate send, and you see there it just adds that little code to the bottom of my email, that incidental little thing that nobody will pay any attention to except the rule I made. The rule I made says, if you see this code, don't delay it. So I hit send, and this email to Eric should go out. There you go. You see that? The email to Eric left while the email to Jacqueline is still sitting there. I can go to my sent items, and the email to Eric immediately went out. It did not delay by 5 minutes. So that's the tool that I built out. You create a rule that delays delivery by a certain number of minutes that basically reflects what Google does in Gmail, but then you add in one other code, which is if you see this little snippet of code, whatever it is, don't delay the delivery, and you can immediately send any email that you want.